You and how do you expect Delta to welcome the new governments?
Well, I think we have to see it in the form of a mixed feeling, because on the one hand, people are celebrating victory, celebrating the fact that a new government is in place. But on the other hand, we must look at the economic indices and analyze them based on what the new government is inheriting. Nigeria is in a very terrible economic situation.
Yes.
And also a terrible social situation. So we are at a point right now where we need to be able to put our house in order, because the next 365 days will be a terrible time for the country. And I wonder if some states will be able to even carry out their recurrent expenditure, even pay civil servants.
You're scaring us now.
It is the reality.
So why do you say so? Why do you say so?
Nigeria, like we say, we basically rely on crude oil as a source of revenue. And today, Nigeria has lost its pride as Africa's largest producer of crude oil to a small, tiny country, Gabon. The current 2023 budget was estimated at, on the benchmark of having 1.8 million barrels of crude oil production per day. And now Nigeria is even struggling to meet 1 million barrels of crude oil per day. So that's already deficit on the one
production
hand.
level.
And then we have a government that just phased out now, that has since 2015 been financing its budget through borrowing. And the borrowing has not actually yielded returns. So that's the situation. That's where we are right now. And all of the states are relying on the federal government through FAC allocation. Like Delta State, for instance, rely heavily, almost 90% on FAC allocation. And so where we are now at the federal level, I strongly believe that a time will come, if we do not act fast, a time will come where the state will go to Abuja and they will be told that we do not have anything.
There's no money to share.
There's no money to...
All right. Sometimes the truth is bitter, but I think Comrade is telling us the true position of things. Let's not be worried. Since he has talked essentially at the national level, how do we expect the government at the state level? Government was inaugurated today. The next day, the price of fuel went from 250, 205, 215 to 510, 600 naira per liter. And as we speak, Nigerians are grappling with that change. Now, what does that speak good economically, or it is an announcement of what is yet to come?
Well, I am a proponent of subsidy removal. So when I heard that this new administration want to take out subsidy, I was very happy. But I think that it was hastily done for political reasons, because you do not announce such a critical policy at a time when people are trying to adjust to a new government, and also without outlining or making people feel directly the impact. I mean, the palliatives that will come along with the consequences of such an action. So you cannot expect a country to continue to subsidize our petroleum products, our refining products, when you have huge borrowing. When this government came into power in 2015, Nigeria debt profile was around 15.6 trillion. And today they left about 80 trillion as debt, behind. And then you see a government that is divesting its financial capacity into, subsidizing crude oil, with the budget going higher than several sectors that really need those kind of financial injection. And particularly when you have made a mistake by borrowing into infrastructures that are not yielding revenue. Look at the rail.
That are not productive.
Yes, look at the rail. I mean, people who the rail are not functioning at the capacity
they are not yet functioning.
And even what people pay for the usage of the rail cannot compensate for the loan we have. You know, it will shock you now that the current national inflation rate is at 22%. No government can succeed in that regard. You know, our ratings have dropped in the means of insecurity. So, you know, there should be an alternative when you say, okay, I'm not subsidizing anymore, the fuel of the pump price will go up. There should be an alternative. Like in Europe, there are many alternatives to using crude oil. Yeah. After the Ukraine-Russian war, the prices of petrol products in the gas stations went up. Yeah. You know, I used to tank with 60 euros, with 80 euros. It went up to 180 euros, 160 euros. That's about 100%.
Yes. Okay, to fill your tank.
To fill my tank.
Okay.
You know, and but while it was going up like that, the government was also trying to cushion the effect, you know, by
the bus system,
by dropping taxes within the refining capacity. And today it has stabilized a little bit, but with an increment, but it has stabilized. But alternative, they had other alternatives. They had rail, people use bicycle, bus system, tram system, you know. So without that, you cannot just come up on your inaugural speech and say, okay, you're removing fuel subsidy without also telling Nigerians what to expect. It is not, the usage of car for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a luxury. It's supposed to be a necessity.
Essential.
So you should have a reason why you're on the road. So if you do not have a reason to be on the road, because you cannot sustain fuel subsidy forever. So we should have anticipated a moment like this. But how the government responds to this?
They didn't prepare our
yes,
mind to
they
it.
didn't prepare it. And the same similar challenge we had when they said they were going to change the currency. Yeah. We were not prepared. There were no palliatives set up in place, and we all saw the crisis that followed afterward. So my prayer is that it is time for us to look deep, and this government should make appointments not based on politics, but based on people who have the capacity and the intellectual resources to be able, you know, to look back at all that has happened to us politically, socially, economically, and then draw up a proper blueprint on how we can manage the next 4 years and bring Nigeria to its state that it surely belongs.
Okay, you said you are an apostle of subsidy removal. Our own currency. Are we in business?
No, we're not. We're not in business. I mean, if you look at the subsidy issues, you see that Nigeria has Bonny Light, which is one of the best crude oil in the world. And research have also shown that some of the people who give our crude oil to go and refine for us, all in the name of subsidy. Yes. What they do basically is when they get out of the country, they sell it, make huge amount of money, then they buy adulterated crude and refine adulterated crude. So
and bring for us.
So most of the refined product that we get are adulterated. They affect our cars. Yes. They affect our engines. So in the long term, subsidy is also helping you to destroy your car.
Destroy my car. Is it going to work in the interest of Nigerians? Vis-a-vis remove our subsidy?
Yes, it's definitely going to work in the long term, but let us look at the short-term challenge that we have. Subsidy has been removed, the pump price has gone up, and Dangote has come up with a capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil production per day, which is huge, which can satisfy the market. But then we have to look at when are they going to start. I mean, what you saw, commissioned was only a political statement. Yes, because they're still undergoing pre-production trials. So they expect the first supply to come in the first quarter of 2024. So how do we survive
before
2024?
That's even
and then coming back to
that's if they are going to serve our interests.
Yes, well, the federal government has a 20% stake in the business, which is also good in terms of revenue generation. But then this is the best time, like my friend just said, this is the best time for Nigeria to look into the 4 refineries that are non-existent. In
that are in disuse.
Yes, in 2019 alone, we spent close to $500 million in doing turnaround maintenance. And in that same year, it was only Warri Refinery that managed to even refine crude at a certain level, and then in 2020 it was shut down completely. And then money still go into the maintenance of those refineries, and they are not producing, they are not refining any crude oil. So, and then the advantage, we must catch in on the advantage. But how will the government function between now and when the Dangote refinery starts to do the supply? Do not forget that currently we have a state-of-the-art facilities thanks to Dangote, because the refinery has a major paradigm shift from the refineries that we have, because they have the capacity.
The ones we had before were like old school.
Yeah, those ones can only refine our crude. But what the Dangote has now, they can refine crude with high sulfur content, Middle East crude, U.S. light crude.
So you can import from anywhere and refine.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's come to the serious one: energy, power supply. Is that an area that the government should be looking at?
Yes, because you cannot go into industrial revolution without having energy supply.
Sustainable.
Yes, sustainable. You cannot bring in investors who will be looking at how they can also raise money to power production. I mean, these are heavy machines, and so the energy sector is actually a critical aspect of our economy. However, you just mentioned agriculture.
That's right.
So in agriculture, we do not need much of
energy.
So we can use that to generate our revenue base, increase our revenue base. And from there, we can look into other sectors, take what we have, because God has blessed us already.
Very well.
We have natural resources, we have human capital, development. I mean, we have a population that is running into about 250 million people, with more than 75% of that population below the age of 30. Look at what is happening in France. Macron has increased the retirement age of the people who are currently working, because they are struggling to pay pension. So, and that is because they have shortage of young people who can work. And then this we have in abundance. We're not converting them into economic benefits.
We're not even engaging them.
Yes, we're not converting them into economic benefits. So, and so when you diversify, you go into agricultural sector, you will be able to create massive job. And when you create job, what you get? You get income, revenue.
You can do some
corporate revenue.
Foreign exchange.
And Europeans are actually looking for where to expand their agricultural produce, because, like I always say, in Europe today, the land space for agriculture has shrunk down. Yes, they don't even have up to 20% of land space, whereas in Africa, in Nigeria, we have about 75% land space that is not utilized. So this is a critical sector that can attract any kind of foreign direct investment. And I think that any reasonable government at this point in time should be looking at foreign direct investment as a key critical area of revenue generation. If you put your eyes out of that, we're going to run into a massive deficit that will affect everyone, including you and I that is talking here.
We're everyone, part of everyone. All right, let's talk about this proliferation of arms. Now, Comrade, thank God you have lived in other climes. This issue of gun in so many people's hands, and by law, we are not supposed to carry arms. If you are going to carry arms, it must be licensed. Even if it's good for hunting, you are going to license. If arms are found with you and they are not licensed, you have committed a very heinous crime, punishable severely. Now, but as we speak, just like you know that you gave a try to become the governor of the state. I'm sure you had your little army that you.
And I know what I passed through. And I know what they passed through.
I'm sure you had your little army that you armed in your very little way. Now, how do we discontinue with this culture? Because it's a problem to us now.
Well, most people who have access to firearms did not just buy them from the shop. Some actually came from the same security outfit, apparatus. So, and but then, how can you do that? Just yesterday, a friend of mine in Abuja sent me a message, and he said he's been promoted in customs, and that I should support him with money. What are you using the money for? He wants to use the money to buy the badge for his new promotion, the scarf, the boots, the uniform, everything he needs. Then in addition to that, he has to pay 30,000 naira for the parade ceremony. You know, so I told him, just write to your Oga officially that you cannot cover this cost, so please leave me in the current rank where I am. So if every one of you will do that, then on the parade day, nobody will be there. Then people will ask, where are those who were promoted?
They will see them as, what
you
do
know?
you say?
No, but I know it cannot happen.
Yeah,
but
they won't have the liver.
In theory,
yes,
this is how it is. I mean, on the one hand, you're celebrating promotion. On the other hand, you are made to go out to pay for what the state is supposed to provide. That's demotivation already. And you expect that guy to carry out his duty without compromising.
He has to recover the money first.
You know, so I know some of my security outfit during the campaign, I had to sew uniform for them. You know, you had to pay for their bulletproof, and in addition to that, you pay for the security to be given to you.
To be securing them.
You know, so this is where we have to come from.
Yes.
This is where we have to come. I mean, when you see Western countries sending armies to war, from some of us watch some of these movies where the people say, no, you don't leave any military man behind, like the motto of the United States. That is born out of motivation that when you die in the battlefront, you already know what you get. Your family will be richer than when you were even alive. So you can commit to the country. You know, but look at some of the videos, like you said, that we see on social media of our patriotic soldiers. Even when you see them, they are happy. Even in battlefield, they are happy. Even when they've lost some of their comrades, you know, just give them a little bit of motivation. They sign up to become military officers, security officers, because they feel that they have what it takes to defend the country. But when they get there, they see that they have to pay for basically everything. You know, some get transferred, they stay in uncompleted buildings. When you are transferred from one